What if I told you that the Stoics knew how to get rich 2,000 years ago? Imagine the wisdom of Seneca, who said, "Wealth is like the sea. The more you have, the more you desire." This statement resonates in a world where rampant consumerism is the norm. Now, visualize a different path, a method that transforms your relationship with money. In this Stoic universe, minimalism becomes a powerful tool. Every purchase is a conscious choice, and every penny saved is a step towards financial freedom. Dive into the idea that less is more. How does this apply to your life? Think about investments. It's not just about accumulating wealth, but about building a stable future. And what do we truly mean when we talk about planning? It's about having control, about not letting circumstances dictate your path. With every decision, you are shaping your financial destiny. This video will guide you down that path, revealing how Stoic philosophy can transform your understanding of money and elevate your economic awareness to a new level. Get ready for a revealing journey. Stoic principles and personal finance. Stoic principles can teach us a great deal about how to handle money. Stoicism values rationality and self-control, and these values are fundamental in managing personal finances. First and foremost, Stoics believe we should focus on what is within our control. When it comes to money, this means we can control our spending, the decisions we make, and how we respond to financial situations that arise. Instead of being swept away by consumerism or societal pressure, we can concentrate on making choices that align with our values and goals. Another valuable lesson from the Stoics is the importance of virtue. For them, virtue is the highest good. This applies to finances by reminding us that wealth is not an end in itself, but a means to achieve a virtuous life. When managing our money, we should ask ourselves how our financial decisions reflect our values and how they can help us live a more meaningful life. This reflection can help us avoid unnecessary spending and focus on investments that truly matter, both to us and to others. Moreover, Stoic philosophy teaches us to practice indifference toward what we cannot control. This is especially relevant in a world where financial circumstances can change rapidly. Instead of worrying about the ups and downs of the market or comparing ourselves to others' financial situations, we can cultivate an attitude of acceptance and focus on our own strategies. This helps us stay calm in times of crisis and make more rational decisions. Discipline is another pillar of Stoic principles that applies well to personal finance. Stoics emphasize the importance of establishing rules and limits for oneself. By applying this discipline to our budgeting, we can create a financial plan that helps us achieve our long-term goals. This approach allows us to resist the temptation of impulsive spending and keeps us on track, even when distractions abound. The practice of gratitude, an important part of Stoic philosophy, can change our perspective on money. Instead of focusing on what we lack, we can learn to appreciate what we already have. This mindset can help us make wiser and more conscious financial choices, fostering a healthier relationship with money and reducing anxiety related to finances. Minimalism as a lifestyle. Minimalism is a lifestyle that connects deeply with Stoic philosophy. It invites us to simplify our lives and focus on what truly matters. In practice, this means reducing excess and eliminating distractions that do not contribute to our well-being. When we apply minimalism to our finances, we begin to see a significant difference in how we spend and how we feel about money. By choosing to live with less, we can lower our expenses and consequently the financial pressure we feel. Adopting minimalism leads us to reflect on our needs. Often, we are bombarded with ads and stimuli that urge us to buy things we don't need. Minimalism teaches us to question whether we really need an item before acquiring it. This reflection can help us avoid impulsive purchases and make more intentional choices that reflect our values and goals. As a result, our relationship with money becomes healthier and more conscious. Another advantage of minimalism is that it promotes more responsible consumption. By focusing on acquiring only what we truly need and value, we contribute to reducing waste and fostering more sustainable consumption. This shift in mindset can be liberating, allowing us to live more aligned with our ethical and moral principles. The outcome is a more balanced and less stressful financial life. Additionally, minimalism can help us save time and energy. When we have fewer possessions, we spend less time worrying about them and more time focusing on what truly matters. This can include investing in experiences, relationships, and self-development, rather than being caught in a cycle of acquiring material goods. In this way, we can redirect our financial and emotional resources toward what truly brings value to our lives. Minimalism teaches us to appreciate simplicity. Instead of seeking happiness in material possessions, we learn that true satisfaction comes from living authentically and in alignment with our values. This shift in focus provides us with a sense of freedom, allowing us to live with less worry and more gratitude. Thus, managing personal finances becomes an extension of this lifestyle, promoting choices that reflect greater clarity and purpose. Conscious consumption. Conscious consumption is a concept that aligns perfectly with Stoic principles. It leads us to reflect on the difference between what we truly need and what we desire. Often, we get carried away by impulses and end up buying things that won't add value to our lives. The first step towards conscious consumption is self-analysis. Asking yourself whether a purchase is truly necessary can be an excellent starting point. This reflection is important because it helps us avoid what we call impulse buying. These expenditures are often motivated by emotions or external pressures rather than real needs. Stoicism teaches us to practice indifference towards fleeting desires, allowing us to make more rational financial decisions. By doing this, we can prioritize what truly matters and avoid future regrets. Moreover, conscious consumption invites us to evaluate the impact of our choices. Opting for sustainable products or supporting companies with ethical practices can make a significant difference. By considering the effect of our purchases on the world around us, we are practicing a form of responsibility that goes beyond our personal finances. This awareness can also motivate us to make choices that benefit society as a whole, not just ourselves. Having a clear and well-defined budget is another fundamental aspect of conscious consumption. By setting limits on our spending, we gain a clearer view of what we can afford, allowing us to make more informed decisions. A budget helps us distinguish between needs and wants, enabling us to make choices that align with our long-term financial goals. With proper planning, we can feel more secure about our finances. Cultivating gratitude is a practice that complements conscious consumption. By valuing what we already have, we develop a mindset that helps us resist the temptation to seek new acquisitions. This shift in perspective can bring more satisfaction and happiness, showing that true wealth often lies in the experiences and relationships we build, not in the things we own. Thus, the practice of conscious consumption becomes a way to live more fully and meaningfully. Financial planning. Financial planning is an essential part of managing personal finances and can be greatly enhanced by Stoic discipline. For Stoics, discipline is crucial for achieving goals and maintaining control over our actions. By applying this discipline to our financial planning, we can establish a monthly budget that reflects our priorities and goals. This means creating a plan that not only covers our basic expenses, but also allows us to save and invest for the future. Good financial planning begins with assessing our current situation. This involves listing all our income and expenses, identifying where we are overspending and where we can cut back. This analysis is a crucial step in understanding our finances and identifying areas for improvement. From there, we can start to set realistic financial goals such as saving for a trip, paying off debt, or investing in education. Clarity in our goals helps maintain focus and motivation. Stoic discipline also teaches us to be patient. Often, we desire immediate results, especially when it comes to finances. However, financial planning requires time and consistency. By cultivating patience, we can resist the temptation to spend on unnecessary things and stay on track with our financial plan. This can be challenging, but the long-term rewards are worth it. Another important aspect of financial planning is flexibility. While it is essential to have a plan, it is also important to be prepared for adjustments. Life is full of unexpected events and changes, and Stoic philosophy teaches us to accept these circumstances. When something doesn't go as planned, instead of panicking, we can re-evaluate our budget and make the necessary changes. This approach helps us maintain calmness and resilience in the face of financial challenges. Financial planning, combined with Stoic discipline, provides us with a sense of security and control. When we have a plan in place, it becomes easier to make informed decisions and avoid anxiety related to finances. Moreover, this security allows us to focus on other areas of life, such as relationships and personal development, knowing that we are taking good care of our finances. Thus, financial planning becomes a powerful tool for achieving a more balanced and fulfilling life. Investing wisely. When we talk about investments, Stoic philosophy can be a powerful ally. Stoics teach us to focus on what we can control and not to be swayed by fleeting emotions. The first important lesson is to view investments as a long-term commitment. Instead of seeking quick gains, a wise investor focuses on building a solid portfolio based on fundamentals and careful analysis. This means that rather than following trends or being seduced by promises of easy wealth, it is preferable to adopt a rational and well-thought-out approach. Another essential point is the importance of moderation. Stoic philosophy warns us about the risks of letting the desire for money blind us. Investing wisely is not about accumulating wealth, but rather using capital in a way that works for us without becoming an obsession. Stoics believe that true wealth lies in our ability to live with enough and not to be driven by greed. Therefore, when making investment choices, it is crucial to have clarity about our true intentions and not to get lost in a sea of opportunities that may seem attractive but have little real value. Additionally, patience is a Stoic virtue that applies perfectly to the world of investments. A wise investor understands that markets are volatile and that it often takes time to see the fruits of our labor. Instead of impulsively reacting to every market fluctuation, the ideal approach is to adopt a stance of observation and reflection. This does not mean being passive. Rather, it means acting with prudence and strategy. Patience allows investments to grow healthily and consequently leads to more satisfying results. Stoics also teach us the importance of learning from mistakes. In the world of investments, failure is part of the process. Instead of letting themselves be discouraged by an unsuccessful investment, a wise investor analyzes the situation, extracts lessons, and prepares to make better choices in the future. This resilience is fundamental for anyone seeking financial success. Continuous learning should be one of the cornerstones of any investment strategy. By constantly educating themselves, investors become better equipped to handle market uncertainties. Investing wisely is also about cultivating a balanced mental state. Stoics teach us to maintain calm in the face of challenges and to act with clarity. This means that when investing, we must be aware of our fears and anxieties, but not allow them to dominate us. Mental clarity helps us make informed decisions and avoid impulsive reactions that can lead to losses. In summary, Stoic wisdom guides us toward conscious and focused investing, which not only seeks financial returns, but also promotes a balanced and meaningful life. Acceptance and resilience in times of crisis. Acceptance is one of the fundamental pillars of Stoic philosophy. In times of crisis, whether economic or personal, accepting circumstances is the first step toward finding solutions. Stoics teach us that we cannot control everything around us, but we can control how we react to these situations. This mindset is especially valuable when facing financial difficulties. Accepting that life is full of ups and downs allows us to see crises as opportunities for learning and growth. Resilience, in turn, is the ability to adapt in the face of adversity. When an economic crisis hits our finances, it's easy to feel discouraged. However, Stoic philosophy encourages us to focus on what truly matters: our financial freedom and emotional well-being. Instead of succumbing to despair, a Stoic seeks to understand the situation, identify what can be done, and act proactively. This approach not only helps us face the crisis, but also strengthens our character and prepares us for future challenges. An important aspect of acceptance is the practice of gratitude. In difficult moments, it's easy to concentrate solely on what is lacking. However, Stoics remind us of the importance of valuing what we already have. This shift in perspective can help us find creative solutions and maintain motivation even when circumstances are unfavorable. By cultivating a sense of gratitude, we can maintain a positive mindset, even amid uncertainty. Moreover, acceptance teaches us to be flexible. When facing crises, we often need to adapt our plans and budgets. A Stoic does not cling rigidly to their expectations. Instead, they are willing to adjust their trajectory as necessary. This flexibility is crucial for navigating turbulent waters, allowing us to discover new opportunities even in times of hardship. By accepting change and uncertainty, we become more capable of effectively tackling challenges. Stoic philosophy reminds us that financial freedom depends not only on external factors, but also on our internal attitude. Acceptance and resilience help us maintain control in times of crisis, allowing us to make conscious choices aligned with our values. In this way, even in the face of difficulties, we can continue to pursue a path of growth and fulfillment, always keeping an eye on what truly matters. The virtue of temperance. Temperance is an essential virtue in Stoic philosophy and refers to moderation in all areas of life, including finances. In a world filled with temptations and excesses, cultivating temperance is crucial for ensuring financial security. The practice of moderation teaches us to make conscious choices, avoiding impulsive spending that can lead to debt and financial stress. When we learn to balance our desires and needs, we create a healthier space for our finances. One of the most important aspects of temperance is the ability to distinguish between what we truly need and what we desire. Often we are swayed by momentary impulses that lead to unnecessary purchases. Stoic philosophy teaches us to pause and reflect before acting. This pause gives us the opportunity to evaluate whether what we are about to acquire will truly add value to our lives or if it is merely a fleeting distraction. This approach helps us build a more intentional life aligned with our financial goals. Additionally, temperance encourages us to live within our means. Instead of striving for a lifestyle based on status or the approval of others, Stoics remind us of the importance of being true to ourselves. This means being realistic about what we can spend and avoiding comparisons that lead only to dissatisfaction. By adopting a stance of simplicity and authenticity, we can not only save but also find satisfaction in the small things in life. The practice of temperance also reflects how we approach investment and saving. A temperate investor does not get swept up in market euphoria and avoids the temptation to make risky investments without proper analysis. Instead, they seek a balance between risk and security, prioritizing strategies aligned with their long-term objectives. This approach not only protects wealth but also promotes a healthier mindset regarding money. Cultivating temperance helps us develop a sense of gratitude. When we are moderate in our desires, we are better able to appreciate what we already have. This practice not only brings us peace of mind, but also allows us to enjoy life more fully. Therefore, the virtue of temperance is not merely about avoiding excesses, but about finding a balance that leads to healthier and more rewarding financial living. The role of self-discipline. Self-discipline is one of the keys to financial success and is a central concept in Stoic philosophy. In a world filled with distractions and temptations, being able to maintain focus and resist impulses is essential for achieving our goals. The Stoics teach us that true freedom comes from the ability to control our desires and habits. When we practice self-discipline in our finances, we can make wiser choices and build a solid financial future. One of the first steps to cultivating self-discipline is to establish clear financial goals. Knowing what we want to achieve helps us stay focused and motivated. Self-discipline allows us to resist unnecessary spending and remain committed to our objectives. When we have a defined purpose, it becomes easier to ignore momentary temptations that may divert us from our path. This clarity of goals is one of the pillars that sustain self-discipline over time. Moreover, self-discipline is reflected in the creation of healthy routines. Developing positive financial habits, such as creating a monthly budget or regularly reviewing our expenses, is essential for maintaining control over our finances. The consistent practice of these routines helps us cultivate a more critical mindset regarding money. When we become aware of our financial habits, we are better prepared to identify areas that need adjustments and improvements. Stoic philosophy also teaches us how to deal with frustration and fear. Often, a lack of self-discipline can stem from uncontrolled emotions that lead us to act impulsively. The Stoics encourage us to face these emotions with courage and rationality. Reflection on wealth. The Stoic view of wealth is quite distinct from the common perspective many hold today. While society often associates wealth with material possessions and status, the Stoics see true wealth as a state of mind. For them, wisdom and virtue are the most valuable treasures a person can possess. This does not mean they disregard money or possessions. Rather, the point is that these elements are not ends in themselves. Instead, they are tools that can be used to live a life of purpose and meaning. When reflecting on wealth through a Stoic lens, it is important to consider what truly brings happiness and satisfaction. Stoic philosophy suggests that true happiness comes from within, from our ability to live according to ethical principles and focus on what we can control. Accumulating material wealth may provide momentary pleasure, but lasting satisfaction comes from cultivating virtues such as justice, courage, and wisdom. Thus, the Stoics invite us to evaluate what we truly need and liberate ourselves from the incessant pursuit of more. Furthermore, this reflection on wealth leads us to question our own priorities. Often we become so focused on making money and accumulating possessions that we forget to nurture our emotional and spiritual well-being. The Stoics teach us that by valuing wisdom and virtue, we can find a deeper sense of meaning in life. Instead of worrying about the external appearance of success, we can pursue a lifestyle that brings us inner peace and genuine satisfaction. The Stoic perspective also helps us deal with loss and the impermanence of material things. Nothing is permanent, and wealth can disappear quickly. By cultivating a healthier relationship with wealth, we can learn to accept the transience of life and find contentment in our own essence. This approach makes us less vulnerable to financial crises, as our self-esteem is not tied to material possessions, but rather to our ability to live according to our values. Reflecting on wealth from a Stoic perspective is an invitation to reevaluate our goals and aspirations. It is a call to prioritize what truly matters and to seek a lifestyle that reflects our principles. Instead of chasing after riches, we can focus on becoming wiser and more virtuous individuals, discovering that true wealth lies in the quality of our choices and the depth of our relationships. Stoic quote, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few needs." Epictetus. This quote from Epictetus encapsulates the essence of Stoic philosophy regarding wealth and consumption. In a world where consumerism and the relentless pursuit of material goods are the norm, this phrase invites us to rethink what we truly consider valuable. Rather than accumulating things, the Stoics encourage us to simplify our lives and focus on what is genuinely necessary for happiness and well-being. Epictetus, one of the leading Stoic philosophers, emphasizes the idea that true wealth is not measured by the quantity of possessions we have, but by our ability to live with simplicity and gratitude. When we have few needs, we become less dependent on external factors for our happiness. This provides us with a freedom that is often lost in the relentless quest for more. By reducing our needs, we can appreciate more what we already have and find satisfaction in the small things in life. This concept of wealth also leads us to reflect on the impact of our consumption choices. Instead of seeking happiness in new acquisitions, we can find joy in experiences, relationships, and our own personal growth. Stoic wisdom teaches us that true fulfillment comes from within, and by cultivating a mindset of gratitude, we can transform our perception of what truly matters. Thus, Epictetus's quote inspires us to adopt a more intentional approach to what we consume and what we consider essential. Furthermore, this Stoic view of wealth helps us develop a mindset of abundance. Rather than thinking we need more to be happy, we can value what we already possess and recognize that often less is more. This shift in perspective can be liberating, allowing us to live more consciously and intentionally. By embracing this philosophy, we can find true wealth in experiences and human connections, which are far more rewarding than any material object. Epictetus's quote is a powerful reminder that true financial freedom does not come from accumulating possessions, but from the ability to live with what is necessary. This practice of living simply and mindfully can lead us to a more fulfilling and meaningful life. By internalizing this message, we can transform our relationship with money and possessions, choosing a path that prioritizes wisdom and virtue over mere material accumulation. Now that you're familiar with the Stoic principles that can reshape your financial mindset, it's time to reflect on how to apply these ideas in your life. Minimalism and conscious consumption are not just trends, they are pathways to a richer and more significant existence. Remember the words of Seneca, "Wealth is not about having great possessions, but in having few needs." This prompts us to consider, what do we truly need to live well? Now think about your finances. Have you taken the time to analyze your expenses? What can be cut to bring more freedom? And what about your investments? Are you investing your time and resources wisely? Planning is key to financial security, and as the Stoics teach us, having control over our finances is essential. What if you committed to applying these principles starting today? What small actions can you begin to take right now? Share your thoughts in the comments, and let's build a more conscious and prosperous community together. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss the upcoming videos filled with Stoic wisdom.